So, what I've learned in my sociology class in college. So, you may ask yourself, what am I going to talk about? Well, I'm going to talk about this book. Let's just open it up and we'll start a discussion. So, let's go to some definitions. I want you guys to listen to some of these definitions. All right, let's go to the first chapter, because that's where some of the juicy definitions are. Okay, let's begin. What's sociology? Well, sociology is the study of human society. Let me say that again. Sociology is the study of human society. Now, what type of society? Let's talk about social imagination. Social imagination, the ability to connect the most basic, intimate aspects of an individual's life to seemingly impersonal and remote historical forces. Now, where I'm getting all my information from is a book called You May Ask Yourself, the 8th edition, An Introduction to Thinking Like a Sociologist by Dalton Conley. No, this video is not sponsored, by the way, but I'm just picking out some things that I've learned in class. So you got that definition. Now, I'm trying to find this other definition real quick. Okay, here we go. Now, pay attention, everyone. This is the good stuff. A social institution, a complex group of interdependent positions that together perform a social role and reproduce themselves over time, also defined in a narrow sense as any institution in a society that works to shape the behavior of the groups or people within it. Now, let that sink in. So basically, your social institution, things that control. So the example here is a tobacco company. Think about that. Think about all the things that control society. Think about how those things that control society that make you make the decisions that you make every day. I need to close this book. This is about to get good. But, yeah. So think about that for a second while I close this book. So that was a little taste of some sociology. So what I've learned in this class is that a lot of decisions that we make every day, a lot of things that we do, we're controlled by other people and we don't even realize it. How are we controlled by other people? Well, when you get sick, where do you go? Who's in control? Hospital. When you need money, where do you go? Who's in control? Financial institution. When you require food, where do you go? I know you're not going to say the farm because a lot of people don't have the farm. They go to the grocery store. See, all these things control us. Money controls us, if you think about it. We have to work for these higher people to run their companies. And then while we run their companies, they generate the revenue. And while they generate the revenue, we generate crumbs of that revenue to pay for other people's properties for a monthly expense. And we also have to buy toilet paper, food, and all that money goes to all these other realms and entities. And then those entities have bigger people above them and they collect. And you see the chain of events. That's what sociology taught me. To expand your mind and really think beyond what you see. Social role. A person basically who grew up, let's say they grow up in, Kansas versus the person who grows up in California. Already there's just cultural differences right there. due to the landscape, due to maybe urban environment versus the suburb environment. You know, high class or people, wealthy people versus the poor. There's always there's that gap. That gap is those cultural differences. That gap is that societal differences. Political views, what people think, how they feel. See, all those things come into play when you're thinking about, when you're thinking as a sociologist, as I should say. But that's what I've learned in that class. It was, very interesting. It's been an interesting 10 weeks. That's what I've learned so far, 10 weeks in there, just, question things and understand things. It's a very good book. You guys should read it. It's got Samuel L. Jackson in it too. It's really interesting. But, society, everything we know, what we do, it's all been pretty much programmed into unprogrammed, like the Matrix. I should have did it this way. How do we unprogram to think beyond? I was told in sociology class by the professor that some people hate sociologists. I thought it was an interesting subject. I remember I had the choice. I was registering for classes and they were like, you have the choice between psychology or sociology. And I was like, well, I don't want to really deal with psychological classes right now, so I guess I'll do sociology. And I'm glad I picked that class, by the way. But psychology is a requirement, so I didn't escape the class that I'm going to have to do. Excuse me. But it's been a very interesting 10 straight weeks. I got 5 more to go, or however many more to go. Not that much, but it's getting more tough the further you go down. That's what I realized. And what I also realized is, college is definitely a challenge. I've met people, like I said, they said that was too much. But then I gotta realize I can't judge people for leaving college or saying it's too much or whatever, because you don't know what people are going through. Maybe they have a bunch of kids. Maybe they are just, it's too much stress. You know what I mean? It's very stressful. But some tips I could give you guys for college is time management. Use spring break to your advantage. I know you want to party. I know you want to blah, blah, blah. But if you're like me and you need extra time, spring break is a perfect advantage because now I'm ahead. Some people can't do that. I get it. But I took that time to just do what I had to do. Some other tips you can use for college, talk to the professors. They're very understanding, because they realize we're not kids. They realize we're adults and we have like lives and all types of stuff. So they're really willing to work with you, but you got to email your professors, man. Stay in contact with your professors. You good, dude? Turtle going crazy over there. But, yeah, man. And some other tips I would give you is coffee. I got a little addicted to coffee because it just gives me that boost that I need. Everybody in college, I swear, everybody drinks coffee, man. I don't know why. I can't make this up. Like every day I go, everybody's got like a cup of coffee in their hand every morning because you gotta wake up early, man. The key to college is waking up early and managing your time, and obviously doing the work. Because I know some people are great at all the time and everything, but they're not willing to do the work. You gotta do the work and the assignments, and you gotta manage your time and get them done in a certain amount of time. That's how it goes. I believe anybody can do it. I don't believe, actually, let me not contradict myself. I believe a lot of people can achieve college. Not everybody, because unfortunately, things happen. Everybody's not cut from the same cloth, as it's an old school saying. It just means some people can handle certain things that other people can't handle. You know what I mean? But that doesn't make you any less of a person or weak or anything. It's just, it just wasn't for you. That's all. Just find something that, fits, what you want to do with your life. But stay motivated to do the things that you said you were going to do. That means, put in the work. Stop caring about what other people think. Oh, if you do this, if you do that, well, that's great if this happens or that, but I'm going to take the risk and try it anyway because it's my life and I want to live it and see what happens, Sometimes life, you got to take a chance, but make sure that chance is positive and not taking a chance like on something negative like peer pressure or some type of choice like that. Stay determined, man. I'm determined to get 100,000 subscribers one day, right? So if you want to help me out, hit the like and subscribe. Thank you. And stay motivated, man, stay out those jail cells, because the same things that you would do illegally, you can do legally. So don't commit no crime. There's always an alternative to your crime, man. Come on. You know right from wrong. Some people don't. They were raised wrong and they don't know right. But do you think people who were raised wrong know right? Let me know down in the comments. I gotta know, man. I gotta know from somebody. Come on. But lastly, if you're new here, I always yell knowledge to the top of my lungs, because I truly believe that knowledge is power and it could save your life one day. So be a sponge and soak up all the knowledge you can, man. Yeah, man. But y'all hear that, man? Y'all hear that, man? I hope you guys enjoyed this book, man. I know we didn't get too deep into it because I didn't want to read the book for the whole video. You guys would probably tune off. But, this is the 8th edition, and it's a very interesting read. I'm actually at chapter 9 right now. But, it talks about sex and aging and postmodern and global perspectives. It talks about, here's a definition: matrix of domination, intersecting domains of oppression that create a social space of domination and, by extension, a unique position within that space based on someone's intersectional identity along multiple dimensions of gender, age, race, class, sexuality, location, and so on. So here's an example. A 40-year-old poor black straight single mother living in rural Georgia will not have the same conception of womanhood as a 25-year-old professional white single lesbian in Chicago. And I'm gonna end it on that. Man, fuck. Wait, somebody said the 8th edition? You may ask yourself, what? We just said this. Man, fuck. I'm out, man. I hope you guys enjoyed that sociology kind of video. What are your thoughts about sociology, actually? Do you think it's useful? Do you know any sociologists? If you have taken sociology, let me know your thoughts about the class in the comments, man. I'm out.